I'm sorry. Got to know this lady pretty well. She stops by the station a lot when she's not in session. I usually say she's from rural Scarborough, but she has reminded me again tonight, it's country Scarborough. State Representative Heather Sirocki.
I don't have a very loud voice, so I do need this mic. And I need my notes because I'm not a very good speech giver. One thing I wanted to remind everybody is we keep throwing around these numbers, millions, billions, and trillions, and a lot of people have a really hard time kind of grasping that, and so I try to, when I speak with large numbers of people, try to give something, to give some perspective to that, and I do it in time. 1 million seconds is 11 and a half days. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. When the legislature, when Beth O'Connor and I and Ellie Espling and a bunch of other people, Aaron Libby, when we showed up there in January of 2011, we had been handed a $1.3 billion deficit to deal with the state of Maine level. And that was pretty staggering for us. But we right now have a $16 trillion problem as it stands nationally. And 1 trillion seconds is 32,000 years. That's staggering. So, stay near the mic. Thomas Jefferson once said, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Eternal vigilance. So to keep our freedoms, we need to be paying attention at all times. We need to pay attention, we need to ask questions. And as a legislator, I can tell you, we hear from lobbyists a lot. We don't hear from you enough. So you really, really, really need to get to know your legislator, whatever town you live in. You need to talk to them, let them know what's going on. John Adams, in a minute, find my quote here. John Adams is one of my favorites, and it's all because of him really that I got involved with politics, because I read the David McCullough book and I said, wow. It really is. Cities may be rebuilt and a people reduced to poverty may acquire fresh property. But a constitution of government once changed from freedom can never be restored. Liberty once lost is lost forever. When the people once surrendered their share in the legislature and their right of defending the limitations upon the government and of resisting every encroachment upon them, they can never regain it. Back to eternal vigilance. One of my good friends, Anne-Marie Grenier from Wyndham, once said, if you put cream in the coffee, how do you get it out? It tastes really good when you put all that cream in the coffee. So the good question is, how do we get it out? And that's where we come in the legislature trying to chip away at things, trying to make things better, and it's a lot of hard work to have that happen. So there's some really great people up there. I really appreciate all the support that DOLPAC will be giving to those liberty-minded individuals that are trying to chip away at things and making things better. So we as defenders of liberty need to recognize our roles in not only safeguarding liberty, but the personal responsibility that goes hand in hand with a free people. Defending and living a liberty-filled existence is rewarding, but it is not necessarily easy. It is not for the lazy. It is not for sunshine patriots. So my message is threefold. 1, don't take liberty for granted. We need to guard it. 2, question everything. As Thomas Jefferson once said, which was almost heresy, question everything, even the very existence of God. And 3, be prepared to meet resistance. As a freshman legislator, I expected the bleeding hearts to resist. I even expected fellow Republicans to show some resistance. But what I didn't expect was some of the strongest reactions to some of the, in my mind, modest reforms that we enacted this year to actually come from Ron Paul supporters. And I know that's going to be hard to hear, but that is the truth of the matter. When it starts to hit you, And your family, when we make these changes, it's hard. And it's hard to accept. And I want you to think about that. When David asked me if I would speak, I said, David, when I first ran for office, the single thing that terrified me the most was public speaking. And I'm not unlike Moses. When God said to Moses, you need to talk to the Hebrews and take them to the promised land. What did Moses say? No, I'm not the guy for you. I'm bad at public speaking. Send someone else. I know. How about my brother, Aaron? I yield back my remaining minutes.
I think she does a pretty good job public speaking, and whenever she's a guest, she's very clear because the phones ring and the emails fly. You know, it is just